Hello and welcome to Thought for August the 26th. Our readings are 1 Kings chapter 21, Jeremiah chapter 48 and 1 Corinthians chapter 7. And our thought is, I will restore the fortunes of Moab in the latter days. We have three long, interesting and challenging readings today. They are examples of the challenge to get our minds around the words God has caused to be written and preserved. When we do this, we get the full picture of God at work, his mercy and forbearance, what he allows and what he condemns. It is a lifetime study. In 1 Kings 21, we see the Lord's mercy on Ahab, and though there was none who sold himself to do what was evil in the sight of the Lord like Ahab, as we read in verse 25, that when Ahab heard those words of judgment from God, and fasted and lay in sackcloth and went about dejectedly, in verse 27, the Lord said to Elijah, because he has humbled himself before me, I will not bring the disaster in his days. Verse 29. In Jeremiah we see how he is caused to prophesy against Moab. It had been a prosperous and helpful country. Remember how David took his parents for protection to the king of Moab in 1 Samuel 22 verses 3 and 4. But we read today how the Lord caused Jeremiah to say in chapter 48 verse 2, the renown of Moab is no more. Then in verse 7, because you trusted in your works and your treasures, you also shall be taken. Nations and people trust in similar things today. But what about Moab? It appears to have been to the east of the southern part of the Dead Sea, an area allotted to the tribe of Reuben. Today it forms a significant part of the nation of Jordan, and its present relationship with Israel is intriguing. Our chapter ends significantly, yet I will restore the fortunes of Moab in the latter days, declares the Lord. Verse 19 is intriguing also. Aroer was a town in Moab, Jordan, the verse says. Stand by the way and watch, O inhabitant of Aroer. That is what we must do today, in these latter days, to see how the jigsaw pieces of prophecy fit together. Our chapter 7 in 1 Corinthians also makes a fascinating study. Paul makes a multitude of points about the sanctity of marriage, and Paul states that God has called you to peace, verse 15. Peace in believing and behaviour is what we all seek, but to achieve this is a great challenge, especially in our increasingly godless latter days. Let us all stand by the way and watch how God is at work in these latter days. Well, thank you once again for joining us for Thought for the Day, where together we can open up the pages of God's Word, knowing that Word to be a lamp to our feet and a light to our path.